Okay, so you know that feeling. You walk out of a meeting, your head's just buzzing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely full.
Right, lots was said. But trying to actually pin down the decisions, the next steps, it feels like looking for, well, a needle in a haystack.
Definitely. We've all been there. You just want that shortcut, right? The
Yeah.
vital info without wading through, I don't know, pages of notes or the whole recording.
Exactly. And the sheer amount of data coming out of meetings these days is a lot.
It's overwhelming. And that promise of AI, helping us pull out the useful stuff, the actionable insights, that's really compelling.
Which brings us neatly to what we're diving into today. We're looking at these brand new mini apps from Fireflies.ai.
Ah, Fireflies. Yeah, they've been making some waves.
They really have. I mean, Fireflies itself is an AI note taker, right?
Right.
But they've seen some serious growth. Their CEO, Krish Ramini, mentioned, an 8-fold user expansion? And they're profitable now.
Wow, 8x.
Yeah.
That definitely shows they're hitting a nerve, tapping into a real need people have.
For sure. So our mission, let's say, for this deep dive is to really get under the hood of these mini apps. How are they supposed to give you those key takeaways faster, easier, help you avoid that overwhelm?
And this isn't happening in a vacuum, right? Firefly's growth is part of a bigger picture.
How so?
Well, we're seeing this explosion of meeting intelligence startups. Think Otter, Read AI, Circleback.
Oh, yeah. Crisp, Granola. There are quite a few popping up.
Exactly. All using AI, speak recognition, generative AI, basically trying to help us make sense of all that time spent in meetings. It just shows how much we need better tools for this.
Totally. And that's where Fireflies is making this, pretty interesting move, launching over 200 of these mini apps.
Over 200. That's a lot.
It is. And the idea is they're like specialized tools within Fireflies, each one built for a specific job.
So not just a general summary type of thing.
Right. The key seems to be that they're tailored for different roles: sales, marketing, recruiting, ops, management, customer support, you name it.
Customer success too, probably.
Yep, customer success. It's a very targeted approach, not just a one-size-fits-all AI trying to guess what you need.
And that focus on specific needs, well, that's what could make this really significant, I think.
Instead of just that broad analysis, you get tools designed for, the unique info needs of different teams.
Okay, so let's make this real. Give me an example.
All right, concrete example. Imagine you're a salesperson. There's a BANT sales app.
BANT. Budget, authority, need, timeline. Standard sales qualification stuff.
Exactly. So this app listens to, or rather reads the transcript, and automatically pulls out those details. Budget discussions, who the decision maker is, what the actual need is, the likely timeline.
Okay, I can see the appeal. So instead of the rep having to re-listen or scan through notes trying to find that specific mention of budget?
It's just there. Think about the time saved. Or maybe, more importantly, the improved lead qualification.
Yeah.
Less time wasted chasing leads that just aren't going to fly.
Yeah. That's a powerful use case. Sales teams spend so much time on follow-ups. If you can quickly filter out the prospects who aren't a real fit based on BANT, that lets you focus energy where it counts.
And it's not just sales, right? You mentioned customer support earlier. So there's an agent performance feedback generator.
Okay, interesting. What does that do? Well, it analyzes a customer interaction, maybe a support call transcript, and it generates insights. Even specific coaching tips for the agent.
So objective feedback based on the actual conversation, I can see how managers would like that for improving service quality.
And maybe spotting bigger trends too, right? If you analyze lots of interactions, maybe you see recurring issues or areas where the whole team needs, more training.
Good point. Okay, another one, the product launch planning app.
For marketing teams, presumably.
Yeah. Let's say the team has a brainstorming meeting about a new launch. This app takes that discussion
and summarizes it.
It goes a bit further, apparently. It actually tries to structure a potential launch strategy based on the conversation. So it's not just summarizing, it's helping organize the ideas into a starting framework.
Right. That's a definite step up. It highlights the shift, doesn't it? From AI just recording to AI actively helping structure the output of the meeting.
Exactly. And this relates to what the CEO, Krish Ramini, said. He pointed out, the amount of time it takes to get insights after a meeting is a lot.
It really is. The meeting ends, and then the work of figuring out what mattered begins.
So these apps are trying to close that gap. Remember that feeling of overwhelm we started with?
Yeah.
Imagine having those key action items or that draft strategy just surface automatically without you having to sit there thinking up the perfect prompt to ask the AI.
That's the key benefit, isn't it? Eliminating that manual prompting.
Yeah.
Moving beyond just having the recording to having actionable intelligence served up.
Yes. And a huge part of making this genuinely useful is how it connects with other tools, the integrations.
The ecosystem. Always important.
Mm.
What are they connecting with?
The usual suspects, really. CRMs like Salesforce, HubSpot, project management like Asana, Jira.
Okay, standard stuff. HR platforms, maybe?
Yep, Bamboo HR, Greenhouse. And of course, Communication Hub Slack, Microsoft Teams.
So the outputs from these mini apps don't just live inside Fireflies.
Exactly. They can flow into where you're already working. Imagine that BANT analysis automatically updating the Salesforce record, or a meeting summary with decisions popping up in your team's Slack channel.
That interconnectedness is vital. Makes the whole thing much less fragmented. The value jumps way up if the insights flow easily into your existing workflows,
Streamlines collaboration, speeds up decisions, all that good stuff.
And it sounds like there's flexibility, too. It's not like you have to run every app on every meeting.
No, apparently you can deploy them on a per-meeting basis. You choose what's relevant.
That makes sense. And what about creating your own?
Yes, that's another layer. They're giving users the ability to build their own custom mini apps.
Okay, now that is interesting. So if my team has a very specific reporting need or analysis template.
You could potentially build an app for it within Fireflies. And down the line, they're even talking about letting users share these custom apps, maybe within their own company groups.
That opens up possibilities for really tailoring the AI to specific team processes, sharing best practices almost.
Just building team-specific knowledge tools, yeah. That potential for customization could be a real game changer, moving beyond the pre-built options.
It empowers teams, right, to build AI tools that solve their exact problems. Fosters a more, data-driven way of working, maybe.
Seems like it. And beyond just these apps for after the meeting, Fireflies is apparently thinking bigger about the whole meeting lifecycle.
Oh, like what?
Well, they mentioned introducing a meeting brief, something to give you context before the meeting starts, who the participants are, info about their companies.
Okay, pre-meeting prep, that's useful. Anything else?
They're also testing something called digital twins.
Digital twins in a meeting context.
Yeah, the idea seems to be AI agents that could answer basic questions during the meeting. What was decided about X, or when is Y due? Kind of like features Zoom's exploring too.
Right, in-meeting AI assistance, so pre-meeting context, post-meeting analysis via apps, and maybe even in-meeting help. It's a more holistic approach.
Exactly, trying to optimize the whole process, make meetings more focused, more productive from start to finish.
Okay, so pulling this all together, these Fireflies mini apps, they really do feel like a potential shift, don't they?
I think so. Instead of meetings being this black hole where information goes in and maybe comes out later after a lot of effort, we're moving towards AI proactively pulling out the important stuff, giving you that productivity boost, cutting down on that post-meeting slog.
Yeah, it's an evolution, isn't it? From AI as just a passive recorder to, an active intelligence partner in how we collaborate.
And focusing on those specific jobs, those domain-specific apps, plus the integration, that feels like a smart way to tackle the core challenge of information overload from meetings.
It really does.
It makes you think, though, doesn't it, about the bigger picture?
How so?
Well, think about the implications. AI getting woven this deeply into how we work together, into our collaboration workflows. How could tools like this really change the way we prepare for meetings, how we run them, and, what we actually do with the information afterwards?
It's a big question. It really pushes you to think about that balance, right? Between the automation, the AI doing things for you, and the human element, the judgment, the interaction.
Finding that sweet spot. How does this enhance collaboration without, making it feel less human?
Exactly. And as these tools get better, you, the listener, really need to think critically. How can you best use them in your work? How do they augment what you do rather than just replace bits?
Yeah, it's not just about adopting the tech, but integrating it thoughtfully.
Precisely.
So maybe the next time you're facing that mountain of meeting notes or that hour-long recording,
We've all been there.
consider how these kinds of AI tools, these mini apps, might offer a different path, a way to get to those actionable insights faster.
It's definitely a space to watch. A really interesting development as we all try to stay on top of things and, just get work done more efficiently.